Welcome to A Simple Life. Today we're going to do some maintenance. Here's what's going on. I haven't done meat chickens for a couple years, so I had to sell her back out. The seller backed out because prices of grain went up. Prices of grain went up meant I had to raise the price of my chickens. So I decided instead of taking a loss, we would keep them and eat them ourselves. So since then, we have not raised meat chickens, and we are about halfway done with all the chickens. We probably eat about 2 chickens a week. So we're gonna take this over to my shop. We're gonna fix all the little issues, all the little holes, because what we have is we have a refresher group of layer hens. So we have young layer hens. They need to go out on pasture. They've been hardened off in our chick brooder. It's time to get it fixed and get it up and running. We got it over to my shop. We inflated both the tires. Now we're gonna go around. We're gonna repair what happened over here. Clint's gonna start stapling all the hardware cloth. I showed him how to do it. There's a couple right here, just briefly. He's gonna go along the bottom, along the top, and anywhere there's loose staples, he's gonna restaple it. There you go, that is how you're gonna do it. Yep, right here too, buddy. There you go, good job. And then along the bottom. So we got some repairs along here that have to be done. This needs to come off because that's just gonna fall apart in my fields. This stuff is aged fine, but this clear stuff doesn't age very well. I'll never use it again. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these clean buckets. These are food grade buckets. The one thing I like doing on these is I like going about 1.5 inches or 2 inches up from the bottom, because it means any sediment, anything that gets in this, whether it's bugs, whatever, they don't get in my hose and clog my hose up. We're gonna make the fit pretty tight on this because we want our threads also to work as a way to keep the water in. So we're using multiple things to keep the water in. I'm gonna go about 1.5 inches, 2 inches up. Test fit, see how close that is. That's pretty darn close. A little wiggle and it should be good. When I designed this, I actually put these supports here to hold a 5-gallon bucket of water and a 5-gallon bucket of feed. So that way our feed could soak in the sun and then we could scoop it out and feed the chicks every day. And that just allowed the feed to ferment better. We'll still do that. There's no reason not to. All right, so there it is. We went from chaos to order in probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes, thanks to the boys. The tires are filled up. We can now pull this back out and put it back out in the pasture. All we have to do is clean out the bucket, and then we can put water in there. We have the feeder set up right here, and then we just have to get the chicks, which they're not very small anymore. We gotta get the big chicks, and we gotta bring them over and put them in their new house. Same thing every time?
Yes, I'll take it.
Okay, so these guys are a little bit big. They shouldn't be this big. Well, the problem is we've had really wet weather for the last 3 weeks. So because of that, I didn't want to put them on the pasture because I didn't want them laying on wet ground. So we kept them in the brooder a little longer. There was plenty of room for them. It was just a little short. We change their bedding every day, and so everybody has healthy feet. Nobody's got any sores on their feet or anything like that. So now we're just gonna put them on pasture because they're big enough. Now these are layer hens, but we're gonna put them on pasture probably for about 3 weeks to a month until they're comfortable kind of being where they're at. And the reason for that is I don't want them to just be out and about and get picked off by bigger birds, picked on by the roosters, picked on by anybody. I want them to be nice and healthy. All right, let's get them unloaded.
They're very kooky functioners.
So chicks aren't quite happy, but they're in a better place. We are gonna move this, we were just talking about it, we're gonna move it every other day. And the reason for moving it every other day is I really don't want them doing much to this other than just pooing. So they're just gonna poo and we'll move them every other day. Unless it starts getting really dirty. If it looks like they need to be moved every day, we'll move them every day. It's not really a big deal. We're just gonna move them down 2 fence posts and then double back, and we'll just let them fertilize this whole entire little section of pasture right here. And there they are, our next group of laying hens. Now all I have to do is build a new chicken coop. I know, I keep talking about it. The other day I was doing some figuring on how big it was gonna be. Still kind of figuring out what the layout's gonna be. Not sure what that's gonna look like, but we're getting there. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us on A Simple Life today. It was great to get the chicks on pasture, especially since the weather's finally gonna be nice this week. It's supposed to be in the high 70s, so they will be very happy.